are still no arrests in the shooting that claimed the life of 17-year-old Brendan Hendricks in the Bronx earlier this week. He was the high school basketball star who had recently graduated, was planning to attend college. He would have turned 18 this coming Tuesday. Shootings on the rise across the city, according to police stats, up more than 150% from this same time last year. Christopher Herrmann, he is a crime analyst and an assistant professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, joining me now live to help us make sense of what exactly is happening. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, thank you, sir. So what do you attribute this jump in crime numbers at this specific point in time?
Okay, so I really think that there's three things going on here that are increasing the shootings, not only in New York City, but in a lot of other cities as well throughout the U.S. So the first reason is summertime. So we always see this increase in shootings in the summer. In New York City, that might mean as many as a 30% increase in shootings, just because it's simply summertime and more people are out and about. Kids are out of school. More people are taking vacation time. The second reason I give is the COVID reopenings. So we see a lot of states that are reopening now. People are going back to their routine activities. And they've been cooped up in their homes, or they've been working remotely, or maybe off from school, or working from school from home. So the fact that people are reopening and getting back to their routine activities is another reason. And then the third reason I give is a lot of the anti-police protests that have been going on in New York City and in other cities as well. There's quite a bit of anti-police sentiment right now. And I think that's contributing a little bit to this lawlessness.
Yeah, and the police commissioner, Dermot Shea, who was here on PIX11 earlier this week, told me that he also attributes it to the court systems being shut down and bail reform, saying that he always had said when bail reform took effect that a storm would be coming, and we're in that storm. But you mentioned summertime and the fact that crime typically goes up because of the warm weather. Do you think, because of that, as we enter the summertime, that it's actually going to continue to tick up before it gets better?
I do. I do think that these numbers are going to increase again as New York State and New York City continues to reopen. I think you're going to see these numbers go up even a little bit more. But it's also important to point out that these are problems. These are not really new problems in new areas. These are ongoing problems of violence, typically in higher crime neighborhoods in New York City. So the problems are really kind of just getting worse in those areas.
Right. So then what do you do? What action can city leaders take to get crime under control? Is it putting more cops on the street in those specific neighborhoods, which some people say actually they don't want?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, again, with a lot of the anti-police rhetoric nowadays, as well as Commissioner Shea disbanding the anti-crime units at the precinct level. It will be interesting to see kind of how the police responds and reacts to this, increasing problem.
I'm curious your take on the fact, when you look at the numbers here, a lot of people were inside, right? So you would anticipate crime going down because people were inside, but instead crime is going up. So what do you make of that?
Well, the overall crime is actually going down. Week to week, we've seen, all 7 of the major crimes that are tracked by NYPD and really tracked nationwide. Most of those cities have had crime drops in the past 3 months.
Specifically in New York City, you're just seeing shootings up.
But it's really shootings and homicides that have spiked in a lot of cities like New York.
So not to put fear out there or anything, I don't want to be a fear mongerer, but because more people will be on the streets, right? Do you anticipate seeing more than just shootings actually tick up? Because quality of life crimes, robberies, things like that would happen when people are walking around haven't been happening.
Yeah, well, again, our pickpocketing, our robbery levels are very low. And again, that's largely a result of the COVID shutdowns and people, again, working remotely, kids not being in school. So yeah, again, as the summertime months, go on and people get back to their routine activities, including increased recreation, staying out later in the evenings, consuming more alcohol, maybe going out to bars and restaurants, we would see an uptick in a lot of these crimes as well.
I know there's not a one-size-fits-all approach and a Band-Aid that could fix the problem, but can you give me, as a crime analyst, one solution that you see that could be implemented tomorrow that could maybe help with some of these upticks?
Well, again, I think Commissioner Shea is going to need to figure out a way to, after disbanding the anti-crime units, I think he's going to have to figure out a different way and creative way to do proactive policing in and around New York City. So cops need to be proactive. The people that are carrying guns need to understand that there's a threat of them being stopped and frisked. So something similar to that fashion is going to have to take effect.
Chris Herrmann, we'll see how all this plays out in the days ahead. Thank you for your time and your analysis this morning. Appreciate it.